What do you got in there? What do you got in there, man? What do you got in there? What do you got in there? Oh!
This is Alysha Duran, who pulled a gun at a genuinely concerned officer after he approached her for parking on the wrong side of a busy road. She is one of many dumb criminals who take on cops and think they can get away with it. Other criminals, like the Shelton cousins, go the extra mile and are willing to take a life in exchange for their freedom. There are also criminals like Malik Chaves here who resist arrest because they know the cop personally. In this video, these suspects did one of the most bizarre things.
Put it down. Put it down. Put it.
But first, let's take a look at this man who attempted to play a fast one on law enforcement agents by lying about his identity.
Don't reach for that. Don't reach for it. Crawl towards me.
On the 13th of February 2024, in Modesto, California, law enforcement officials approached a female driver for having her headlight and taillight on. Seated in the passenger seat was another man who claims his name was James Bunch. While the officer questioned him, he appears harmless, but they soon find out that he's hiding something.
And sir, do you have any kind of ID on you?
I have no idea.
Nothing? Alright.
I do.
What's your last name, sir? Huh? Bunch?
There we go. It's in here somewhere.
What's your first name, Mr. Bunch? James?
No.
I think your brother was looking for you. I stopped him on his bike downtown. He said he's looking all over for you. Not trying to talk to him? No? Alright. No big deal.
The officer takes the details and informs the driver that he would help her by issuing her a citation and she'd be free to go. But first, he has to run a quick check on their IDs. Moments later, he discovers that the male suspect is a wanted man, and in fact, James Bunch is not his name.
Alright, ma'am, I think I'm just going to work on a simple warning citation for you. It doesn't cost you any money, nothing like that. Just sit tight, okay? I'll be right back with you folks.
When the woman reveals to officers that the suspect is a friend she hadn't seen in a long while, they figured something is terribly wrong. The officers seem to have the situation under control until the suspect pulls a gun on them. The body camera footage of the cop shows the suspect on the ground screaming in pain.
B41 shots fired. Suspect on the way.
Get to cover! Get to cover!
Get on the ground.
He had attempted to shoot at one cop despite being surrounded by 3 other officials. More officers as well as EMT are now at the scene, and they immediately start working on stabilizing him. The culprit, later identified as Mark Koch, is seen unconscious, but the ambulance eventually gets him to the hospital, and he survives the incident.
I'll go him.
You're okay, buddy. You're right.
Where are you hit, man?
That's our 30-1.
Mark Koch was charged with attempted murder of a police officer, possession of a firearm, possession of ammunition, and using a firearm during the commission of a felony. Before the incident that night, he also had an arrest warrant issued on him for domestic violence. Up next, we witness a high-speed chase turn into a full-blown shootout that led to a number of casualties. This happened in Carroll County, Georgia on April 12th of 2021. A state patrol trooper stopped a Nissan Santera for exceeding the speed limit on the interstate. The driver is later identified as Aaron Shelton, and his passenger is his cousin, Pierre Shelton. These two proved to be more difficult than the officers could have anticipated. Initially, when officers signaled behind them, Aaron refused to pull over. Eventually, the car pulls over, and before the trooper can get any information from them, they take off at high speed. Moments later, the trooper catches up with the Shelton cousins, who make a rough turn in an attempt to diverge the cop car. And this is where everything changes. From the passenger side of the Nissan, Pierre Shelton pulls an AK-47, points it directly at the trooper, shooting at him. The trooper immediately sends alerts to local police officers who promptly respond to the situation. Soon enough, there are police vehicles on every road in the county, looking for Aaron Shelton and his cousin. The clip then shows body camera footage of Carroll County Police Sergeant Rob Holloway sending comms with the specific instructions to mobilize law enforcement agents to take down the suspects.
Back off just a little. We're going to follow at this distance. Dispatch, we're going 60 miles an hour. Bankhead Highway. We're passing Barnes Store. Get Villarica set up. Spikes at Bay Springs.
The chase is still on, but the sergeant has no idea what's about to hit him. Holloway has been shot right in the head and totally loses control of his squad car. Here's what it looked like on his dash camera. The chase is finally over, but a shootout is just about to begin. Video now shows dash camera footage of Carroll County Police Officer Chase Gorey, who was also present at the scene. Not long after, the gunman begins to fire multiple shots at him from a distance. Seeing that the officer is trying to take cover behind his squad car, the suspect now approaches Gorey and fires directly at him. Now, for the first time in this video, and for just about 2 seconds, we see the suspect in full frame with the firearm. After pulling a gun on a trooper, shooting an officer in the head, and injuring one other, it's ridiculous that the Shelton cousins thought they would get away with it. And in the end, Pierre Shelton was killed that night, while Aaron Shelton was arrested and charged with felony murder, felony fleeing, and aggravated assault of law enforcement officers. After trial, he was sentenced to life in prison. Sergeant Holloway, who was shot in the head, surprisingly survived the near-death experience, and he was there to testify in court. He said to Aaron Shelton, quote, "Regardless of what I've been through, you didn't take anything from me that God didn't restore." In Westminster, Colorado, on April 25th, the body camera footage of police officer Nick Adams captures him approaching a Jeep parked on the wrong side of the road. Officer Adams goes ahead to inform the driver that they are parked illegally. Just then, he notices another vehicle parked in front of the Jeep. He approaches the driver, 46-year-old Alysha Duran. Alysha refuses to roll down her window as Officer Adams tries to converse with her. When she doesn't respond, he's genuinely concerned for her and asks if she's okay. The officer is still confused as to why the woman isn't responding to any of his questions. He then goes ahead to ask if she's been drinking.
You're in the wrong lane. Are you okay? Are you okay, man? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. Are you okay? Have you been drinking or anything? It doesn't look like you've been drinking.
Seconds later, the officer sees Alysha reaching for something in her center console. He sees that it's a gun.
What do you got in there, man? What do you got in there? What do you got in there? Oh!
And before they both realize it, the situation escalates and shots are fired. Officer Adams' prompt response causes him to fire at Alysha and unknowingly at the Jeep just behind the suspect's car. He immediately puts out a shots fired call and moves towards the vehicle to confirm the state of the suspect.
225, shots fired, shots fired. Don't move.
Shots fired. All units, code 9 channel 1. Responding units, Sam 25.
Are you okay?
80 Lamar.
Are you okay?
After Officer Adams retrieves the gun from Alysha's vehicle, he confirms that she is not breathing.
I've got the gun secured. No response from her.
He then proceeds to confirm if the driver in the nearby Jeep is okay and unharmed by the bullets. At this point, he breaks down and apologizes for opening fire.
Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
After explaining the situation to the driver, who identifies themselves as Jess, he introduces himself and offers to help if they need to call anybody.
Jess, you're fine. You don't need an ID. Jess, I'm Nick. Okay? You're gonna need to stick around for us a little while. I'm so sorry. Holy, you could call anybody.
There have been comments and speculations about Officer Adams' response to the apparent threat by Alysha Duran. However, the Colorado Revised Statutes affirms that if an officer is threatened by a firearm or deadly weapon and has no reasonable alternative, then they may use deadly force in self-defense. In this last case, we witness an exchange between a suspect and an officer who knows him personally. This scene gets violent pretty quick, as a Louisiana officer gets into an altercation with a 25-year-old Malik Chaves. On October 8, 2022, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, law enforcement agents were called to a residential area for a public assist. This means requesting the presence of a police officer for a non-emergency situation that does not involve crime or danger. But while law enforcement and paramedics were trying to help the person involved, they hear gunshots coming from the area. He finally traces the shots to an apartment where he finds Chaves just sitting there with a gun in his hand. As the officer approaches him, Chaves points his handgun and shoots at him.
Put it down. Put it down. Put it.
Immediately, the officer also opens fire in defense. At this point, Chaves has already been shot in the hand and shoulder, and the officer is instructing him to drop his weapon and come down the stairs, but he doesn't cooperate.
Hey, come down. Come down. Come down!
As the officer is having a heated exchange with Chaves, another officer is heard in the background, and he seems to know the suspect personally. As shown by the other officer's body cam, he tries to talk it out with Chaves, saying he's known him since he was a kid.
He drunk. He normally don't act like that, man. I've been knowing this dude since he was a kid, man. Hey, we're not gonna hurt you, man. You know me, I'm not gonna hurt you. I've been knowing you since you were small, bro.
In the outcome of things, Malik Chaves was taken to the hospital to be treated, after which he faced multiple counts of attempted first-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon. And that will be all in today's video. Tell us what you think about the guys in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this.